Could 2 or 3 cancer deaths be avoided? Would you prefer to fight the effects of illness or return to health? There are millions of talented, motivated and helpful professionals working in medical services. Patients profit a lot from their experience and empathy. But when it comes to cancer, the results are still disappointing.
It's not hard to realize that traditional treatments for chronic disease have a lot to be desired, leave a lot to be desired, right? So when a patient, they have their scans, PET scans, CT scans, MRI, and they locate the tumor or tumors, and then someone does chemo and or radiation. Then they do their 5-6 cycles and then, wait a little bit and they go for their scan again. Wow, great results. We can't see the tumor or it's decreased X percentage, 60%, 70%. So everything looks good. And that patient is monitored. Come back in 3 months for another scan. Come back in 6 months for another scan. Well, one thing is you're giving them more radiation all the time, making them even more toxic, right? And making more DNA and RNA potential mutations with the radiation.
There was a study that was published, I believe it was in 1994. It was a 12-year program, 12-year study. They looked at adults who had developed cancer as an adult, not childhood cancer, but adult cancer, right? And this is the main types of cancer that we get here in the United States. They did a meta-analysis of these people all around the world who developed cancer as adults for 12 years and were treated with chemo. And they looked at the results. And they published the results in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. And the results? 97% of the time, chemotherapy does not work. 97% of the time it doesn't work. So why is it still used? It doesn't work 97% of the time. If Ford Motor Company made an automobile that exploded 97% of the time, would they still be in business? No. This is the tip of the iceberg of the control that the pharmaceutical industry has on us. Because cancer is not a reductionistic phenomenon. Cancer is a holistic phenomenon. And when you try to bring a reductionistic methodology like drugs and surgery to bear on a holistic phenomenon, you will completely miss the boat each and every time. You cannot do it.
Meanwhile, immunotherapy with dendritic cells is recognized as a fourth column of cancer therapy. Listen to Dr. Ralph Steinman on dendritic cell therapy.
Most vaccines work by teaching the body's immune system to help you defend against infection. But they use one part of the immune system called antibodies. We're trying to develop vaccines that use another part of the immune system called T cells. And these T cells can resist AIDS, malaria, other infections. They can resist cancer as well. And in our research, we discovered a new type of cell, dendritic cells, that teaches the T cells how to make a response. They help the T cell initiate immunity, and they control the type of immunity. So our new vaccines are designed to harness these features of dendritic cells and thereby give us new T cell based vaccines. In the past, the way a vaccine against polio or influenza, smallpox, etc. is made is that you use a weakened form of the virus. But this isn't possible with the AIDS virus and with other agents. So what our vaccines are doing is taking apart the virus into the components that need to be recognized by the T cells that I mentioned, and also the components that teach the dendritic cell how to initiate an immune response. So in summary, we're developing new protein-based vaccines against AIDS, and the platform we're developing can extend to other infections and to cancer.
Now, let's get the latest scientific information about cancer disease, cancer therapy in the past and now, and creating a healthy therapy and practical steps for faster recovery. In general, Millions of people are suffering from chronic diseases, cancers and tumours. For hundreds of years, scientists have tried to develop therapies to cure cancer, but still there are only few therapies in widespread use, such as chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and latest, immunotherapy. All of these therapies are used as a monotherapy as well as in combination with each other. Apart from the above treatments, natural healing substances are increasingly being used and can have great effects. However, for people suffering with advanced stages of cancer, the effects are often too slow. Natural remedies have scientifically proven powerful results, but there is a lot of miracle healing gossip around too. Dendritic cell therapy effect. Immune cells destroy cancer cells in a healthy body, same as in an affected organism. In case of cancer disease, the immune system couldn't defend the body enough. Dendritic cell therapy effect. Immune cells destroy cancer cells in a healthy body, same as in an affected organism. In case of cancer disease, the immune system couldn't defend the body enough. Dendritic cell therapy results. High success rate in many medical trials and cases. 2 to 3 times increase of lifespan or survival compared to general practice. Minimal and short-term side effects, potentially 2 to 3 days of flu. Day clinic treatment possible in many cases. Often a quick improvement of well-being and increased energy following treatment. Positive side effects even in palliative situations. A blood sample of 200 millilitres will be taken and shipped to a specialised laboratory in Germany. After, production of a personal immune cell vaccine. The patient receives an injection of the cultivated dendritic cells 10 days after the initial blood sample.
Immunotherapy of cancer using dendritic cells. Cancer is resistant to immune system attack. In dendritic cell immunotherapy, stem cells are isolated from the blood. In culture, the stem cells become dendritic cells. Dendritic cells are then loaded with cancer proteins and become sensitized. These sensitized dendritic cells are injected into skin. Sensitized dendritic cells travel to the lymph nodes where they seek out specific lymphocytes. The dendritic cells instruct specific lymphocytes to multiply. Armed lymphocytes travel and attack the cancer cells.
Comparing therapies. When it comes to cancer therapy, there are different options patients and their physicians might choose. The first option may be surgery, cutting out tumours and carcinomas. The therapy is quick, however it's painful and recovery time and stresses. Also, there is a risk of remaining cancer tissue. Chemotherapy, poisoning cancer cells. It's commonly used, but has frequent, strong side effects and only addresses the symptoms of cancer. The cancer may return. Radiation. Burning affected areas, commonly used. Local side effects and healthy organs next to the tumour might also get affected. Natural therapy, diets and psychological programs. Strengthening the whole organism to create a positive impact on cancer. There's no serious side effects and great support for any therapy. However, it's often too slow to face serious conditions if it's seen as a standalone therapy. Dendritic cell therapy. This is an immune-boosting system to extinguish degenerated cells, has no serious side effects, improves general condition, reduces side effects of other therapies, superior results in clinical studies. Currently not often covered by health insurance policies, poor availability due to lack of resources.
Immucura Med uses the scientific methods of Nobel Prize laureate Dr. Ralph Steinman. Immucura is a pioneer and market leader in the distribution of dendritic cell therapy in Europe. Immo7 Onco-Support. Dendritic cell therapy can be used as complementary to any therapy plan, a monotherapy and embedded in an integrative therapy plan. Immo7 Onco-Support. Each of these elements have proven the potential of exceeding the results of conventional therapies.
The elements of Immuno7 Onco-Support. Dendritic cell therapy, Dr. Eccles' supplement protocol, which includes repair and stimulation of the mitochondria, specific apoptic effects, stimulation of the immune system, cell detoxification, hypothermia, local or full body hypothermia according to the cancer type, nutrition plan, tasty low carb nutrition to starve cancer cells, well-being coaching, mental and emotional support of the healing process, oncophysiotherapy. Higher agility significantly increases survival rates. Listen to this interview about the influence of nutrition on cancer treatment.
Up until recently, the main thought is that it was to do with fruit and vegetables providing a broad range of substances we call antioxidants. And the basis of this is that just by living and breathing, and of course living in a toxic environment, and if we smoke and exposure to radiation, environmental pollutants, these all increase what we call free radical stress. Now these are highly reactive chemicals which we take into our bodies or that we are exposed to, and they damage our cells. What the antioxidants do is they act like a sponge to these free radicals, preventing their excess and therefore their damaging effect on cells. More recently, however, it's interesting to note from the scientific publications that actually some of the key phytonutrients that are found in fruit and vegetables seem to have other protective effects on cells as well.
So what are some of these effects?
They are definitely antioxidant, we know that. They reduce DNA damage, which is almost certainly partly because of the antioxidant action. They reduce inflammation, which is important. They have been shown to improve immune system function. They've been shown to improve circulation, particularly the flavonoids. And lastly, but by no means least, there is also published evidence that some of the key phytonutrients are able to actually alter gene expression. Now this is very important because our genes don't just determine our eye and our hair color. They also are responsible for day-to-day function of our cells, the ability of our cells to behave, to regulate themselves, even to die at the right time because they have a sell-by date. The fact that phytonutrients are able to change how our genes function is something which is now well published.
Implementation of the therapy. Firstly, consultation, clarification, agreement. Secondly, blood extraction in a next available Monday slot. Thirdly, supporting treatments according to Immuno7 Onco-Support. Friday of the following week, return to clinic to receive the vaccination injection. Finally, ongoing monitoring, support and continuation of the supporting treatments. There is strong evidence that 2 of every 3 cancer deaths could be survived. Let's choose to return to health instead of fighting the effects of illness. For further information, collaboration or private consultation, get in touch with Immucura.